Today's topic for discussion is basic principles of life. The earth is made up of abiotic and biotic components. Abiotic means non-living. Biotic means living. Okay. The biotic components are obviously the living beings present around us. All living things. That comes under biotic components. Plants, animals, organisms, including human beings, all are living things. The question is, where do we call them living and how do they differ from non-living? Let us see the basic things of life, the basic principles of life. Okay. The living being once produced that has to survive. For survival, the living being that needs energy and many chemical molecules. For energy, it has to perform metabolism, metabolic processes. Metabolism, again, it is of two types. And first, catabolism. Another type of metabolism is anabolism. These are the two types of metabolism occurs in living organisms. In catabolism, breaking of molecules takes place, and during anabolism, preparation of new molecules takes place. That process is known as anabolism. Photosynthesis is the example of anabolism. Respiration is the example of catabolism. Okay? And from birth onwards, organisms show tendency of growth and development. Every living organism grows and develops. And this growth is a well orchestrated process. You might have observed that sand mounds also grow. Boulders also grow. But they are not living things. This growth is not from within, and hence they are not living beings. Growth and development are not the processes which have unlimited time span. Growth and development do not take place for unlimited time. At certain point of time, after certain period of time, the molecules, organs that begin to lose their effective working. When the human beings becomes old, they lose their working capacity. It is a very commonly we have seen. And the organism becomes old. Same thing happens in all types of living organisms. This is aging process of the body. Life has to continue. Hence the organism tries to produce a young one like itself. The living things reproduce and produces the next generation. It is possible due to reproduction. And reproduction in living organisms occurs by two methods. That is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, it is a process in which gametes are not produced, sex organs are not produced, but the reproduction takes place. When the reproduction takes place in absence of gametes or sex organs, that reproduction is known as asexual reproduction. And sexual reproduction, it is the reproduction in which the gametes are involved. Male gamete and female gametes is involved. when the gametes are produced, male and female gametes are produced, and by the fusion of gametes, sexual reproduction, after fertilization, the fusion of the gametes, that is a fertilization, a sexual reproduction takes place. This ensures continuity of race. Okay, but there are some things. For example, the sterile workers of honeybee. Workers, these are the flies, they work continuously for the collection of the honey. The sterile workers, they do not reproduce. But they are living things, but they do not reproduce. Think for this. And can we call the reproduction as inclusive characteristics of life? Yes. And next thing, as the body loses its capacity to perform metabolism, when the metabolism in the body stops, the living being that get destroyed or the living being that dies. Okay. Any living being responds to thermal, chemical and biological changes in the surrounding. If the thing is living, that is sensitive to thermal, chemical and biological changes in the surrounding. This is the unique property of living beings. There is immense diversity in living organisms. Since time immemorial, variety of organisms are living together on the earth. There are many living organisms are present on the earth. Different types of plant communities are present. Different types of animals, different types of communities of animals, organisms are present on the earth. We all are interacting with each other. In order to understand the interrelations between living and non-living things, as well as between two living beings or groups, systematic study of these is very essential. This data is also very important for various industries and agriculture. Intensive laboratory and field studies in order to identify and classify the organisms form strong basis for meaningful use of the collected data. If we need to study this diversity, certain aids called taxonomical aids can be used. These includes herbarium, plural it is called herbaria, botanical gardens, museums, biodiversity parks, zoological parks, etc. This is all about basic principles of life.